So for today's video, I thought it would be fun to look at some common myths about autism and then debunk them based on my experiences as well as the experiences the article lists. So we're going to be looking at an article from the Autism Self-Advocacy Network, that's the name, autisticadvocacy.org. They are a good group if you want to support people with autism / autistic people, whatever language you prefer to use. They actually have autistic people on the board and they don't want to find a cure. So this article is from 2009, but I think the myths about autism don't really evolve, which is why I'm still going to use it. So starting from the beginning, we have myth, all autistics are savants. Fact, only about 10% of all autistics are savants. Most autistics, the other 90%, are not savants. So a savant is someone who's like a super genius. I think they show it in movies like Rain Man or really a lot of media about autistic people because, you know, people only care about autistic people if we are like magical super beings. Or what did Sia compare us to? Was it, I know she said wigs, but I think it was something else like magical beings. Anyway, so while autistic people might have, or do have, I suppose, special interests and things that they really love to talk about, we're not all people who can, I don't know, like calculate math that only a computer could do inside our heads. Or I think there's one guy who can like see a city once and then draw it all from memory. Those people do exist, but they're definitely not common. All right, the next myth is that autistics do not attend college or other post-secondary education. Fact, autistics can and do attend college and university and other schooling pursuits after high school. And then it just talks about books being written about that. So obviously, I graduated from university with a bachelor's degree as well as all, regular school, pre-secondary education, primary education. I don't know what that's called. So yeah, the idea that autistics are children or childlike, which is actually the next myth, is wrong. We do grow up and we can go to college like anyone else and have a job. So as I said, the next myth, only children are autistic and autism disappears after childhood. The fact is autism is lifelong. Autistic children grow up and become autistic adolescents and adults, and it doesn't disappear. So again, I'm a great example of that. My autism certainly didn't disappear. It might be a little harder to detect because I was definitely socialized into masking or hiding my autistic traits, which is a pretty common thing that happens in society, unfortunately. But I didn't become any less autistic just because I grew up. Okay, the next myth is all autistics are visual thinkers and have advanced visual spatial skills. Fact, some autistics face challenges and tasks that rely heavily on visual spatial thinking, such as navigation, modeling, and geometry. That is true. I was really bad at geometry. I'm not someone who can like put stuff together in their head. Next myth is all autistics are geniuses. Fact, some are, but many are not. But yeah, so I'm definitely not a genius. I'm smart, but again, that doesn't make me like Einstein. Myth, autism is not genetic and does not run in families. Fact, it's highly heritable, is that the word? Past studies have suggested that the concordance of autism in maternal identical twins is likely to be between 60 and 90%. The concordance of autism among parental non-identical twins and siblings is likely to be between 5 and 25%. I do have other family members who are autistic, so yeah, that's as far as I can confirm. If autistics do not fly on airplanes or travel on buses and cars, and they cannot drive cars. I did not realize this was a thing that people thought. Yeah, I've actually traveled and lived in other countries, so I've been on planes and trains and buses, and I don't currently drive, but that's more because of my OCD than my autism. But yeah, so fact, autistics travel on all forms of public transportation, and some people can drive. Like, that's such a weird one. I guess it just goes with the idea that neurotypical people really think we're not capable of anything. The infantilization of autistic people is a really big problem that I think is really heavily emphasized in movies and popular culture even today, because especially for non-speaking autistics, people have this idea that if they're not speaking, then they have the mind of a child, and that's something that's used to describe autistic people a lot, is like childlike and childlike innocence. Again, I'm going with Sia. Should I just make a video on that movie music? Because I could, It'll probably make me sad, but I could do it. I haven't seen it yet because why would I? But if you guys want that, I can do that. But yeah, and that's really damaging because when you treat an adult like a child, you forget about the fact that they do have adult desires and needs and things like that. And also you get these myths like they can't go anywhere on their own, or the final myth, which is you will not see and meet autistics in your local community. They do not work, shop, buy groceries, bank, or walk around town. Obviously, that's not true. We're people, we have needs, and we exist in the world. So this website says, fact, autistics do work and participate in their local community. Most people have seen and met countless autistics over the years and not known it. This actually goes into a myth that they did not address, but I want to address. The stereotypical autistic person is a white male who is obsessed with something like trains or math. So a lot of people who don't fit that stereotype, so women, people perceived as women, and even more so for people of color, are overlooked and often undiagnosed until later in life. So I myself was not diagnosed until I was 20, and that was something I did for myself. No one told me I should be getting an autistic diagnosis. It was something that I said, I'm pretty sure I'm autistic and I want to see. So yeah, by perpetuating that particular myth, and it's pretty common in media to only see white guys who are autistic, all the other people are then forgotten. Basically, I just want to say that these myths are really harmful to autistic people. And if you are confronted with someone who believes them, it would be really great, whether you're neurodivergent or neurotypical, to explain why those aren't real and why they harm other autistic people. I could go into greater depth about this, but I think this is a good place to stop to just sort of give you a general overview about autism and the myths of autism. If you'd like to see any other videos on autism, please let me know. I will be doing them for the rest of the month and presumably as I go forward. But if you have any specific topics, let me know. And yeah, I will see you guys all next week. Bye.